So hello and welcome to the channel. It's Sunday the 12th of April 2026 and today we're going to bring you a very special video. We are going to Coronation Street to walk the cobbles, and Daryl's coming with us, Nick's coming with us, and we're also taking Mum, and she's very excited. She can't wait to walk on the cobble. She's not been to the new one. So what we're going to do for you today, we are going to take a lot of still photos as we walk up and down, and we're going to show you and try explain who's living in the different places. So it should be a very interesting video. So I think we'll get started straight away, and we'll start looking at who lives at the different houses. So this should be an absolutely fabulous video for you of me, Mum, Nick and Daryl at Coronation Street in Manchester.
Capturing moments, creating memories, and welcome to our channel.
So I'm going to get straight into this, and we're going to start with the Rover's Return, the pub at the end of the street, which is very popular, and we're going to look and hopefully put a few pictures on of who's actually run the pub. So I'm going to start off with Annie Walker. She run the pub between 1970 and 1984, so she was there for quite a while. And then after her it was Bill Walker, and he was 1984. And then after that we've got Bette Lynch stroke Gilroy, and she was there 1985, 87, 92 and 95. And then Bette and Alec Gilroy. After that we've got Jack and Vera Duckworth, very famous couple. They run it between 1995 and 1997, and then I think Alec Gilroy went into it with them as well. If I'm right, let me know in the comments. And then after Jack and Vera left the pub, Alec Gilroy run it on his own for about 12 months, I think in about 1998. Natalie Barnes was the next person. She had it between 1998 and 2000. And then I think after that, Mike Baldwin, Fred Elliott and Dougie Ferguson. And I think that was between 2000 and 2001. And then in 2001, Dougie Ferguson run it. I can't remember that guy, to be honest with you. And then 2001 to 2002 we'd got Eva Elliott, and then I think Fred Elliott took it over from 2002 to 2006. Following that we've got Steve and Liz McDonald, and then in 2011 till 2012 it was just Steve McDonald. After that, 2012, Stella Price, can't remember her, and Carl Munro as well with that. And then Stella Price had it on her own between 2012 and 13. I'm just looking now who had it after. Stella and Gloria Price had it in 2013, and then Stephen Liz MacDonald again, 2013 till 2015. Peter Barlow and Toya Battersby, 2017 to 2018. And then of course Johnny and Jenny Connor. And then it finally ended up in 2021 till 2023, just purely Jenny Connor. And 2023 to 2024, if you can remember, Daisy took over with Jenny as well. 2024 to 25, Carla Connor, And finally, Ben and Maggie have got it now here in 2025 and 2026. So just a bit of fabulous information I've give you there on the Rovers. Drop me some comments if you know anything different. So let's move on to the very, very famous number 1 Coronation Street, and that's right next door to the Rovers Return. And we've got some very, very famous actors who have lived in there. So number 1 Coronation Street is really, really known for the long-term residency of Ken Barlow, and he moved in with his uncle Albert Tatlock. So yeah, let's have a look who was actually there. So Albert Tatlock, don't know whether you can remember him. He was a resident of number 1 from 1960 to 1984, and then in the 1960s Ken Barlow moved in there, and then when Albert Tatlock sadly passed away, Ken Barlow became the owner. 1962 till 1971 we've got Valerie Barlow. Now I can't remember her, but she was Ken Barlow's first wife. And then in 1981 Deirdre Barlow moved in there with Ken, as Ken married her as his second wife, and she lived there until 2015. And then, if you can remember, Blanche Hunt, she was a frequent resident of number 1 there as well, and she was a very, very good actor. We've got Tracy Barlow, who lives there. That's Ken's daughter. We've got Peter Barlow, Ken's son. He's lived there on and off for quite a good while. And then of course we've got Steve MacDonald and Amy Barlow. Amy Barlow is Steve's daughter and Tracy's daughter, and they live at number 1 as well. So yeah, quite a lot of really, really famous people have lived in there. So moving on, we are now standing outside the very, very famous number 3 Coronation Street, and let's see what we can remember and who's actually lived there. So let's look back. Frank Barlow, he's lived there. I think he was there December 60 to May 64. Ida Barlow, December 60 to 61. Kenneth Barlow was actually there as well. I didn't know that. And then we've got David Barlow, Nancy Leathers, can't remember her. Betty Lawson, June 67 till July 67, so she didn't really live there very long. We've got Clifford Lawson, really don't remember that one. And Ronnie Lawson, very, very famous one. I can really remember Ray Langton. Peter Barlow's been there as well, and Susan Barlow, very, very famous actor who was in there. I don't know whether you can remember. Emily Bishop, April 72, and her husband, who I think got shot and killed in the series, Ernie Bishop. Let's see if we can remember everybody else. Deirdre Langton, Tracy Langton, Kevin Webster. Wow, yeah, Kevin Webster was there as well. He was there January 84 till May 85. And who can remember Percy Sugden? Wow, that really that brings back some memories. I can remember him. Norris Cole, he lived there. He was a really, really good actor. And of course, finally now in the series streaming today, number 3 is owned by Ed and Aggie Bailey, and they purchased the house from Norris Cole in 2019, and they live there with the son Michael and the granddaughter Corrie. So yeah, very, very famous, number 3 in Coronation Street.
December 1960. Esther Hayes is renting number 5. June 1961. Esther's conman brother Tom Hayes lives in number 5 for a month after his release from prison. May 1962. Esther Hayes moves to a flat in Moore Lane. August 1962. Minnie Caldwell and her cat Bobby move into number 5. November 1962. Minnie takes in a lodger, Liverpudlian Jed Stone. April 1963. Jed Stone borrows Harry Hewitt's car and disappears. January 1966. Jed Stone returns and becomes Minnie's lodger again. September 1966. Jed Stone is arrested and sentenced to 18 months in prison. April 1968. Dennis Tanner's girlfriend, Jenny Sutton, lodges with Minnie for a month before she marries Dennis and moves down to Bristol. May 1968. Ina Sharples stays with Minnie for a month on her return from St. Anne's, the mission having been demolished. September 1969. In between 2 spells at number 3, Ray Langton lodges with Minnie at number 5 for a month. November 1970. Whilst the Rovers is being redecorated, Billy Walker lodges with Minnie. November 1970. American GI Joe Donnelly lodges with Minnie. He becomes interested in Irma Barlow, and after confessing he is a deserter and he killed Steve Tanner, he holds Irma hostage. December 1973. Ina Sharples loses her job and home at the community center and stays with Minnie. February 1974. Ina leaves number 5 to live in St. Anne's. December 1974. Eddie Yates moves in as Minnie's new lodger, and Ina returns and stays at number 5 for Christmas. March 1975. Ina Sharples stays for a month. July 1975. Eddie moves out, but only down the street to number 9. April 1976. Minnie Caldwell moves out temporarily to help housekeep for Handel Gartside, whose wife has died. October 1976. Minnie Caldwell ceases to be a tenant, deciding to live in Handel Gartside's house full-time. Landlord Wormold puts the house up for sale. November 1976. Mike Baldwin narrowly beats Ray Langton to buy number 5 for $2,500. Ray and Len Fairclough are employed to modernize number 5 and knock it through into one room downstairs. December 1976. Mike Baldwin installs Bet Lynch as his housekeeper. March 1977. Mike Baldwin's other mistress, Anne Woodley, objects to Bet staying at number 5. Mike tries to evict her, but she stays put, so he sells number 5 to Ray Langton and Bet moves out. Ray, Deirdre, and Tracy Langton move in. November 1978. After an affair with waitress Janice Stubbs, Ray Langton leaves his wife for a building job in Holland, and the following month issues an ultimatum: join me or sell the house. February 1979. Deirdre and Tracy are forced to move in with Emily Bishop at number 3, and Bert, Ivy, and Brian Tilsley from Inkerman Street move in. March 1987. The birth of Sarah Louise makes Brian move back in with Gail and Nikki. June 1988. Ivy remarries, and Dawn Brennan moves into number 5. September 1995. Josie Clark moves in with Dawn. June 1996. Josie Clark moves out. October 1996. Ashley Peacock moves into new 5 as Dawn's lodger. March 1997, and moves in Janice and Les Battersby with daughters Leanne and Toya. December 1999. Toya moves out to a bedsit with boyfriend Spider Nugent. August 2000. Dennis Stringer lodges temporarily with the Battersbys. In February 2001, Dennis moves out and into number 11 with Eileen Grimshaw. November 2001. Janice moves out to share a flat with her lover, Dennis Stringer. They later move to Sheffield. February 2002. After Dennis's death, Janice returns to Weatherfield and Toya moves out to share a flat in Victoria Street with her. June 2002. Keen to help out, Les offers a room to Kirk Sutherland, who is looking to move out of his parents' house. The lads are soon settling into a diet of fry-ups, beer, and takeaways, followed by a spot of rat catching, complete with air rifle. By October, the council learns that Les is illegally subletting and threatens eviction. He first calls on Kirk's help, and they claim they are living as a gay couple. But later, Janice reluctantly agrees to help out and tells the council they are reconciled and back living together. The council allows Les to stay on. 2003 to 2005. Kirk is still lodging with Les, but Les has a new woman in his life, Fiz's mother, Cilla Brown, and her 10-year-old son, Chesney. It's been a rocky road, with Cilla moved out more than once, but she seems to be part of the fixtures and fittings at the moment. 2005. Kirk moves back to his family's home when he takes over the kennel business. 2009. Kirk's parents sold the home and business. Kirk has moved back to number 5. Les leaves to work with a rock band. Cilla leaves to go to Las Vegas and South Africa. Fiz and Kirk break up, but Fiz moves back in to be Chesney's guardian. Kirk moves girlfriend Julie Karp in, but she moves out after they break up.
So there we go, some very, very interesting information of who's lived at number 5 Coronation Street. And this very day, living there, we've got Chesney and Gemma with their children. So we've moved on now to the very famous number 7 Coronation Street, and I'm going to have a look and go through a few people who've lived there for you. So we're going to go back to, let's have a look, the 1960s. So in 1960, Harry Hewitt moved in there, and he was there until May 1964. After that, Alice Burgess, she moved in there, and she was in there March 61, but didn't stop very long. And Lucille Hewitt moved in after her. But in August 1982, Len Fairclough, he moved in, and he was there till December 1983. Alan Bradley, can you remember Alan Bradley? He moved there in 1987. We've had Rita Fairclough living in there as well. Rita's been in the show a really, really good while. 1986, Jenny Bradley, she's been in there as well. So there's been quite a lot of people I've told you about so far there. And Steve McDonald, wow, he was there in June 1994 until July 1994. And also his brother, Andy McDonald. Who can remember Andy McDonald? I certainly can. Another really, really famous actor that was in Coronation Street. He actually lived in number 7 as well, and that's Percy Sugden. Who can remember Raquel Watts? Curly Watts, his wife. She's been there. Angie Freeman. Can't remember her at all, but she's lived at number 7. Samantha Failsworth, again, no idea. I can't remember. Tyrone Dobbs, he's still in Coronation Street now. He's lived there. Jackie Dobbs. Really can't remember Jackie Dobbs. Kevin Webster. Kevin's still in the show now. And then another really famous person I can remember in Coronation Street. Curly Watts. Who can remember him? Wow. Also, Emma Watts lived there as well. Can't remember Emma Watts and Ben Watts. And then I believe Tracy Barlow has even lived there. We've got Blanche Hunt. She's been there for a short time. Not long. She was just there January 2004 till June 2004. Warren Baldwin. Who can remember Warren Baldwin? Danny Baldwin. Carol Baldwin as well. And also Frankie Baldwin. So there's been a lot of Baldwins living in that particular house. Let's have a look. Violet Wilson. Can you remember Violet Wilson? 2006 she started living there. And another one, Jamie Baldwin. Wow, Jamie Baldwin. Liam Connor. Wow, Liam Connor's actually lived there. Now, Michelle Connor. Wow, she was in Coronation Street for quite a while. And I can certainly remember it. And she eventually married Steve McDonald and moved into the Rovers. Ryan Connor, he's lived there. Maria Sutherland, now Maria Connor. Kirk's sister, she's been there. And another one, can you remember Tony Gordon? Tony Gordon's actually been there as well. Carl Monroe, he's lived there. Asher Allahan, Adi Allahan, and Sanita Allahan with Dev. Unfortunately, Sanita died a few years ago, and Dev's lived there bringing his two children up. And Mary, she was, I think, living in there with him and helping him to do that. But Dev's now remarried, and he's now married to Bernie, and they are still the current owners of this particular house here in Coronation Street. So wow, we're now standing outside number 9 Coronation Street, and I think this is probably one of the most unique houses on the set of Coronation Street, with all the brown and blue stone cladding and the blue door. And let's reminisce and think who had that done. And I think Jack and Vera Duckworth, when they lived here, had all this stone cladding put on, and at the time it looked absolutely fantastic. So Jack and Vera Duckworth, they were living here for a long time. And if you can remember, they had a son called Terry Duckworth, who used to live, and he lived there, and he was a bit of a rogue. And they eventually took Tyrone Dobbs in. So Tyrone Dobbs lived with the Duckworths for a long time, and then Tyrone actually has finished up owning the house. Let's have a look back and just look who else has stopped here. So let's think who else has stopped at this particular house. And I'm just trying to think now. So we've probably got Fizz Dobbs, who's lived there. Hope Dobbs, she's still in there. Jackie Dobbs. And one I can remember here. Wow, Molly Dobbs. Who can remember Molly Dobbs? And of course, Tyrone Dobbs. Lisa Duckworth. Can anybody remember Lisa Duckworth? And Tommy Duckworth. Another person I can always remember. Can you remember Tina McIntyre? Wow, Tina. That's a while since she was on there, and she was actually killed on the show as well. Who else can we think? Sean Tully, he's lived there. Just trying to think who else. Eddie Yates, he's been there as well. And then there's loads of ones I don't really know, like Kirsty Soames, Alison Soames, Freddie Smith. So yeah, very, very, very famous house. And like I say at the start, I think that particular house is my favourite one on the set, and it really, really stands out. And then, as I said near the beginning, the house now is owned by Tyrone Dobbs. He took it on from Jack and Vera Duckworth, and he's still there today, and he's living there now with his family, his 2 children, and Fizz. So yeah, there's a really, really good look at this fantastic house here on the cobbles. So we've moved on to number 11 Coronation Street, and again another really, really famous place, and we've had a lot of very, very famous people stopping in this particular house. So we're going to start off with Enid Sharples. She's actually stopped there, and she was a wonderful actress from quite a good while ago. Bet Lynch has stopped there. Audrey Potter, she actually lived there years ago, and she's now changed her name to Roberts because she married Mr. Roberts. Let's think who else. We've got Bill Webster. So can you remember Bill Webster? He actually lived there. He was Kevin Webster's dad, and I think that was back in July 84, and Kevin obviously was living with him there as well. Debbie Webster, she was living there as a child as well. Harry Clayton, I can't remember Harry Clayton, but yeah, that's another actor. Sue Clayton. Alf Roberts, he married Audrey Roberts, and he was there March 86 to 89. And then Jim McDonald and Liz McDonald lived there. Wow, didn't know that. So, you know, a lot of really, really famous people I've told you there, really. And then Eileen Grimshaw, she was there, and I think she actually moved in with a bloke named Dennis Stringer. Don't know whether anybody can remember Dennis Stringer. I certainly can't. And Eileen has lived there with her 2 sons, obviously Todd and Jason Grimshaw. So they've always been there, and they've had loads and loads of lodges. And I think one of the main lodges they've actually had there was Sean Tully. Sean Tully's lived there a good while. We've got Mary, who's lived there as well. So yeah, the list can just go on and on and on. And a very, very, very famous storyline that they run from there was when Eileen was with Pat Phelan. So yeah, a lot of history. Eileen's now completely moved away, and George is living there now, George Shuttleworth. So a lot of people have been in that particular house. So we're moving on now, and we're now standing outside of number 13 Coronation Street, and this is the house before the corner shop. And we've got to start off with two absolute legends, Stan and Hilda Ogden. Wow, who can remember Stan and Hilda Ogden? I certainly can. She'd always got like a apron on and she was always screaming and shouting at Stan, and Stan didn't really care. And they had an absolutely amazing mural on the wall. Who can remember that? And if I can also remember, they had like 3 birds hanging on the wall. So yeah, that really brings back some memories for me. And I can always remember as well, Stan and Hilda Ogden, they had Eddie Yates as a lodger, and Hilda used to scream and shout at him as well, and he was a bit like Stan and didn't really care and took no notice of her. So we also had, I'm just trying to think now, Sally Webster, Sally's 2 daughters, Rosie and Sophie Webster. They lived there for a while as well. I think it was after Kevin and Sally split up. And then we had Tracy Barlow living there for a while. I didn't realise that. 2 other really good people that were in there. Can you remember Ashley and Claire Peacock? I can remember him. He was the butcher's son. Wow. Who else was there then? I think after that Kevin Webster moved back in, and I think Kevin Webster is still the owner presently today, and he's living there with his son Jack, and he did live there with Abby, but Abby's now left, so it's just Jack and Kevin living there. So yeah, a lot of really big actors have lived at number 13. So we've now moved on to the corner shop, which is like a little convenience store selling all food, drink, treats, biscuits, wine, booze, beer, and all that sort of thing, and quite a busy place it is too. So let's just think and remember back to who's actually owned the corner shop. So in the pre-60s, it was Elsie Lapton. She owned it for quite a while. And then Florrie Lindley, she owned it between 1960 and 1965. Maggie Clegg was another owner of the shop. Wow. And then in the early 70s, it was Alfie and Rennie Roberts, and they actually revamped the shop and made it look a lot smarter. And then finally in 1999 to the present day, we've got Dev Allahan, who runs the shop now, and he actually calls it D&A Allahan Corner Shop. Wow, a lot of history on the shop there today. So we've brought you some fabulous history there of all the houses on the main terrace side of Coronation Street. And what I'm going to do now is just go through some photographs that we've taken and tell you a little bit about the rest of the area. So we're starting walk up here now, and Daryl's standing next to one of the Coronation Street police cars, and I think you'll find Craig Tinker has drove that quite a lot of times, and it's always in the police scenes when the car comes flashing round the corner with its lights flashing. So yeah, there's the police car of Coronation Street. So let's move on now and see what else we can see. And we've got Tracy Barlow's van, Preston Petals. So you see Tracy driving that, and you see Mary driving it, and we've got Mum standing by it as well, and I think she's having a fabulous time here at Coronation Street. We've got the police van. That's in Coronation Street quite a lot of times as well as the police scenes. And we'll move on now to the police station, and wow, look at that. That's the entrance to the police station there, and you see a lot of the stars actually going in there. There's the Weatherfield police station sign. I'm just trying to think who we've got as police in Coronation Street. So we've got Kit Green and Lisa Swain. So they are the police in it at the moment. They've got some uniform police as well, but not as many now. And Mum's standing now looking outside the police station there. That's fabulous. Now the building over Nick, I don't know whether you can remember, but that's the actual courthouse, so they dress it up as the courthouse. We've got Daryl and Nick, and they are standing in one of the new parts of Coronation Street, the precinct. And in the precinct they've got different shops which you can see there. So we've got Cash on the Spot, and we've got another shop to the side of it. And if you look above the shops, they are actually flats, and they do some scenes where you see people coming out of the flats there. We've got the swings, so you see a lot of the characters actually sitting on the swings, swinging in the precinct. We've got Sweet Enough and the Pound Outlet, and again we're looking at the flats at the top. Another shot there of the swings and the slide and the children's play area at the precinct. It's wonderful. And Daryl standing with Nick outside one of the shops there, and Nick's having a fantastic time. Let's have a look at the other shops. Look at that one. That's got like all cakes and confectionery and all that type of thing in it. It's amazing. The swing again, and you can see there's actually 2 push bikes, and again you do see a lot of the scenes on Coronation Street film there. And there's another look at some more of the flats, and like I say, they have done some scenes with the flats. Weatherfield Community Centre, I've seen it a couple of times, but you don't actually see that a lot. But yeah, it has been on. So Daryl's standing there again with Nick and Mum and the area, and they're having a really, really good time. And Nick's actually on the grass there, look, in the precinct. He's gone under the tape, and he's standing on the grass and having a really, really good look round. So we're back to the Weatherfield police station, and that again is a cracking shot of the front door there. Wow, David's Barbers, Trim Up North. So David Platt and Maria Connor, they work in there cutting hair, and it's in a really, really nice hairdressers. And we've got a closer up shot there of Mum and Daryl standing outside David's hairdressers again. Amazing. So there's Shuttleworth's funeral directors, and we've got George Shuttleworth. He runs that and owns that. And wow, Speed Dial. With Mum and Daryl standing outside Speed Dial there. That's incredible. Daryl's now standing by the tram station, and it just makes everything feel like real life when you can go to these places and see these things. And we've got some shops there, Sainsbury's and Weatherfield pop-up shop. So there's a lot to see. So we've got a lovely garden area there, and the bench is absolutely amazing and dedicated to the Manchester bombing. And you see a lot of the stars actually sitting on them two benches, just chilling and crying and talking. So yeah, amazing place and really good to see. So let's have a look what else there is. So we've got a big block of flats there, and I think that's where Sarah and Kit live, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, we've got another cracking view there of the tram stop and the shops. The tram stop's always in the series quite a lot. And look where Mum and Daryl are standing. They are standing right outside Shuttleworth's funeral directors again. Wow, what an incredible shot that is. And there's Sarah's flats again, and you can see Victoria Court as well. And we've got another absolutely fabulous view of where Sarah lives again there, look you, on the street. Wow. And I think this now is Seb's memorial garden. I think that was made for Seb, who got killed. So there's now a look of Victoria Court. There's quite a few flats there. I think Nick Tilsley lives there. These flats, I don't think, have ever been shown. I've never really seen them on any of the programme. And Daryl standing outside of Victoria Court there, look you, with Nick, and he's taking a photograph for himself. Incredible. And the Builders Yard, wow, who can remember the Builders Yard in Coronation Street? Still on the series at the moment, and I'm pretty sure it's owned by Gary Windass, and they've got a skip outside there, look you, as well. Wow, amazing. Look at the cobbles and all the buildings there, the set. It's an amazing place. We're outside Victoria Court again. Daryl's actually gone off that one, the picture before he was standing outside. Mum standing outside Barlow's Legal Service, owned by Adam Barlow. Wow, amazing. And Daryl and Mum are standing outside there of the community centre in Weatherfield. And they're going to go then and look at Roy's Rolls, which is a very, very famous cafe owned by Roy Cropper. And if you can remember years and years ago, Hayley Cropper used to live in there as well, Roy's wife. So Roy's Rolls, what a fabulous place to stand outside of. What an honour. So Prima Donna, the kebab shop on Coronation Street, and we're standing outside now looking at it. Daryl and Nick are standing inside, and Chesney is normally standing behind the counter there serving food. Daryl and Mum standing in front of the counter. Wow, and you can't think Chesney served all them kebabs there, can you? That's incredible. And Daryl's actually sitting down there now, look you. That's where they sit and eat the kebabs after they've bought one. And Mum standing again right by the counter of the kebab shop in Coronation Street. So we're moving on now, and we're looking right across to Streetcars. Streetcars is the taxi firm in Coronation Street, and they've got the cars parked outside, and the telephone number is 715-1515 if you want a cab. And that's owned by Steve McDonald and Tim, and it's very, very famous for the very, very old worn out chair they had in the office. And you see all the taxi drivers here getting out of the taxis and coming in there, and then if anybody wants a taxi, generally it gets well, you get picked up from here where the taxis are actually here now. And the blue car, that's always in the seam. Look at this seat here now. That's very, very famous. You see a lot of the school children sitting on there waiting for the bus in the morning. And then we've got 15A. That's actually residents of Debbie Webster and Ronnie Bailey. Wow. Preston's Petals. Wow, Tracy Barlow's Preston's Petals. And you normally see that van that we saw earlier on parked there. Tracy's always in the shop, and you've got Mary driving the van and delivering all the flowers, and we've got Mum standing outside there. What an incredible shot. Now the flat there at the side with the brown door, that was Billy's and Paul's, but obviously both Billy and Paul now have exited the show. They've both been killed off, so I'm not sure now who's actually there. And then, wow, next door, look, Audrey's Hairdressers. That's incredible. And Audrey's the local hairdresser. Great view there of the Rovers from across the other side of the street, and you can actually see the railway bridge there. We're looking now at the health centre. So that's the medical centre in Coronation Street. That's shown a lot. And we're looking now right down Coronation Street. And you can see how it goes from tarmac to cobbles with the Rovers on the left. Now this dog that you see here, he was actually in the show for about 3 or 4 minutes. And I think it was the scene where Evelyn's dog had been poisoned, and if you can remember, that dog walked past her, Roy's Rolls, and she says, "Don't walk past here, else your dog will get poisoned." Fabulous view now of the Rovers again. That's an amazing place. And we're now walking down the side, so Daryl and Nick are walking down the side, and they're going to go through the Ginnel. And the Ginnel's used a lot in a lot of the scenes, and Mum's walking down the Ginnel there. Wow, that's incredible. And they always make that look like a really, really scary place. And then at the end of the Ginnel, you can see all the back of the houses. And I think they call that the Ginnel as well. So let's have a look what we can see. So if we look here now, that's the backyard of the Rovers. So you see people sitting on that table. And then like the covered in area to the left, that's the smoking area for the Rovers return. And that gives you a better shot look of the smoking canopy. Wow, you can't think you've seen that on the TV programme so many times. And there's a fabulous look now right down the back entries, and they do a lot of filming down there where the residents are putting the rubbish out. Doesn't it look amazing, that? So they've actually got some bins there as well, but you can't walk all the way down because it's blocked off. They must remove that barricade when they want to. Look at this mural. This is like opposite the Rovers backyard. It's amazing. And then we've got looking through a gate there into one of the properties. Incredible what you can see on this tour. And Daryl and Nick, wow, they're standing by the back gate there of the Rovers return. And Nick looks like he's having an absolutely fabulous time. And there's another really, really close-up shot of the smoking area at the back of the pub. So we've got another fabulous view there at the back of the Rovers, and we're looking at all the upstairs windows, looking down over the smoking area and the tables of the backyard. The Ginnel again, that's as we head from the Ginnel going back towards the street. Amazing. And Daryl and Nick there standing admiring all the different facades here in Coronation Street. Incredible. And look at that now as we look at the medical centre again on the right hand side, and then you can see all the other buildings in front of us. Side of the Rovers. Wow, you don't see that scene very often on the Rovers. You think you would, wouldn't you, with the doors and everything. and Daryl and Nick walking towards Audrey's. And you've got the phone box and Audrey's sign outside, obviously saying she's open. And that famous seat, how many people from the show actually sit on there? And you've got Daryl and Nick sitting there having really good time. And now Mum and Daryl and Nick, I bet they're so proud to be sitting on the really famous seat outside Audrey's. So look at Audrey's there now, close up view of the window with the blind shut and the doorway you enter the salon. And that now number 2A, that's a residence at the moment of Leanne Battersby, and she lives there on her own at the moment. Wow, incredible. And then we've got all the new houses. So we're going to have a look now who actually lives in these new houses. So we'll start with this one, and that's Sally and Tim Metcalf's house, and they've got that brand new front door on, which looks really incredible. And we're looking down the street again now there. That's stunning as well, all the old terrace buildings looking absolutely brilliant. And again, looking across, we've got all the terraced houses again, which we've told you about and told you who've been living there. And Daryl and Nick, look at that, they're taking a photograph there, looking right across at the Rover's return. That's amazing. And another shot there of the Rovers as well. And it's a great day because all the people who are visiting can bring the dogs. It's fantastic. So Daryl's now got Nick there, and they're looking right at the other end of the ginnel, where we could see that it was fenced off before when we were the other side. And Daryl's taking a picture there outside Alatan's shop at the very famous post box on the corner outside the shop. And then next to Dev's shop, just round the corner, we've got another flat. So we've got the brown door and the brown window that Mum and Daryl and Nick are standing by. And that is the home currently to Todd Grimshaw and his partner Theo. And there's a big storyline there at the moment where Theo is abusing Todd, and it's a really sad story. And that's where they live, above Dev's shop here on Coronation Street. And we've got number 12 Coronation Street there, the home of Brian Packham, who owns the newsagents. So the cabin previously has been owned by a lot of different stars, and let's look down memory lane and just see if we can remember who's been there. So between 1973 and 2009, Rita owned the cabin, and she was the owner for quite a good while, as you can see. And then I think in 2009 till 2019, Norris Cole took over, and Rita still worked there, helping Norris to run the cabin. And then Brian Packen in 2019, he bought it, and like I say, he's still the owner now. I think Len Fairclough as well has actually owned it as well. Now, people who've worked there, Mavis Riley. Who can remember Mavis Riley on Coronation Street? And then I think she changed her name to Mavis Wilton before she actually left. Sales assistants. We've got Tina McIntyre. She was in there working. Gemma Winters actually worked in there. Leanne Battersby as well. Even Emily Bishop and Jenny Bradley. Wow, incredible. And Paperboys, we've had Curly Watts, Chesney Brown, and Dylan Wilson. I can't remember any others. So, yeah, the cabin. Really famous part of the Coronation Street set. And I always love it when the kids go in there for the sweets after they've finished school. And all them sweet jars they've got on the shelves and the newspapers. Absolutely incredible place. So there we go. There's just a little bit of information about the cabin on Coronation Street. So we've got Mum now standing outside the cabin as well there. And look at that sculpture they've got. That's very, very famous. I think it's a newspaper boy. Wow, David Platt's house. Incredible. And David Platt's front garden. He's just recently had all that house done up because it burnt down. Carla Connor's and Lisa Swain's front door there and front window. Incredible view of that. And another view there now of David Platt's two front windows and his grass, plants and garden. Sally's. That's Sally's house. So Sally and Tim, they are both residents there at the moment. And again, Carla and Lisa Swain's. And Nick's standing right by Carla and Lisa's front door and having a fantastic time. And he's just walking away now from their front door. Amazing. Looks like they've got a new front door on as well. Mum's there now, so Mum's standing by Carl and Lisa's house as well. So they've all been there and had a good look. And there's Carla and Lisa's bedroom window on the top floor with the alarm box on. Beautiful house. Mum, Daryl and Nick standing outside Sally and Tim's. And look at all the plants they've got by the front door there. So Daryl's now in Sally's garden and Nick's having a look at all the plants, and Mum is with us as well. Incredible view of the garden. David and Shona Platt's front garden there, and there's a lady actually looking through the window there with a dog. Let's have a look now at the Rovers. Look at all the cobbles outside, and we can also see number 1 Coronation Street there as well. And a fabulous view now looking down the cobbles at all the terraced houses on Coronation Street, and you can see the cabin. David Platt's and Shona Platt's again, right outside their front door and front window. What a view we've got of David and Shona's house there. And Mum's actually joined us now outside David and Shona's house as well. And Nick, he's having a good look as well. So we're now outside Underworld, and Underworld was founded by Mike Baldwin, I think in about the early 1990s. So after Mike Baldwin, Danny Baldwin took it over. Paul Connor, can't remember him, but he's had the factory. Tony Gordon, can you remember Tony Gordon? He's actually owned the factory as well. Aidan Connor, wow, Aidan Connor, I forgot about him. And Johnny Connor, and even Nick Tilsley has owned the factory as well. But obviously now it's owned by Carla Connor again. And Gary Windass, I think, actually owned the factory building. So a lot of history at Underworld. What an amazing place it is. And Daryl and Nick are sitting on the front step there. Incredible. And Daryl, Nick and Mum now standing by Underworld. So Mum's joined us on the picture outside Underworld. Wow, Webster's Auto Repair Centre. Amazing. Look at the seats outside there, and Daryl and Nick are sitting outside there on the seat, and you see Kevin and Tyrone sitting there a lot as well. So Kevin Webster owns Webster's Auto Repair Shop, and he works there with Tyrone Dobbs. And Abby Webster is a mechanic there. She is Kevin Webster's ex-wife, and she did finish, but she is back working there again. So look at the office. You see Kevin, Tyrone and Abby walking into that office up them 2 steps a lot. Look at all the tools and everything, the big tool trays there in the garage, and all the car parts and everything like that. Wow, another cracking view looking across the cobbles there. The cabin on the right and all the terraced houses. Nick on the underworld steps. Wow, he's having a fabulous day there outside Underworld. So we're outside number 10A now of Coronation Street, and that's home to Rita, and Rita has been a long-term resident there. Wow, look at this. That's looking through David and Shona Platt's garden at Sally's conservatory. Amazing. And that's David Platt's and Shona Platt's garden again. I don't know what's actually under that cover. So we've got another shot of the cobbles there, looking down towards the Rover's Return, all the fabulous houses. Daryl and Nick walking up the cobbles. Nick looks like he's having an absolutely wonderful time walking past all the terraced houses. And amazing, the Viaduct Bistro. Daryl and Nick are standing outside of it, and that's owned by Nick Tilsley and his partner Toya. And yeah, that's a fantastic place on the cobbles to go get something to eat. So another look at Hallahan's corner shop and all the cobbles. Absolutely amazing photograph there. And another one looking at the cabin and all down the street. Absolutely amazing. And they don't really show you that one. I think that's Webster's Body Shop. Didn't really ever see that in the series. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of the tour. We're going to head out and have a look at the hospital. So that's part of the ITV Studios interior sets, but they do change it to the hospital when they need to. So that's absolutely fabulous. You can't think that's on the car park of Coronation Street, and there's the car park that you can see that is the hospital now. Absolutely fabulous. So that brings this amazing tour that we've had of Coronation Street to a close for today. And I think Nick just really wants to thank Coronation Street for letting him come along. And Mum's really enjoyed it, Daryl's enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed it. So yet again, thanks very much to Coronation Street. We've had a lovely walk through all the set. So it's time to say, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, please share, of course, please subscribe to the channel. It's completely free to do that. It doesn't cost you anything. Give us a hype and give Nick a great big massive paws up. He's had a fabulous day. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to say to you, the vlog is over. See you all soon on the next video, wherever that may be.